Okay, so now I have a little present for you. So on the module for the informative speech, you will find this public speaking speech outline. I'll also put it into this module for you. But this is a working document that you can use to help you outline your full sentence outline for your speech. And so you can basically just delete anything that you see here and fill it in with your information. So for example, you can highlight this area and you can say that this is the title for my speech. And it has everything that you will need. It tells you that you need to put your name, the date of your speech, the title. It tells you that you need to have a specific purpose and a thesis statement, neither of which are stated at the top of your speech. And it tells you that you need to have an attention getter and a preview in your introduction. It has places for all of your transitions, right? So it has every single thing that you will need for your speech. So I will say that I am going to have a snappy attention getter so my audience will listen. Today, we are going to talk about XYZ. And then first, let's discuss X, right? So it has all of the information that you need. And then you say, okay, so we're going to talk about X, right? And so you can delete everything and put in all of the information that you need while having it in the format that I am specifically looking for your speech. Now, let's say that you're like, okay, I want another sub-point. Cool, just hit enter and it creates another sub-point for you. Let's say that you want another sub-point after the A point. Cool, you can just shift tab or delete in order to make a new sub-point. Just like that. And then you can create new sub-points, right? So it's very, very flexible and very useful for the purposes of your speech. It has main point 1, transition, main point 2, another transition, main point 3, and then a conclusion. So it tells you everything that you need to have for the purposes of your speech. In addition, it also has examples of the various different kinds of references that you might use for your speech. And this is an example of APA format. So it tells you that for an academic research journal, you need to have the author's last name, their first and middle initials, the year in which something was published, the title of the article with a subtitle, and you'll notice that it's in sentence case, very important for APA. It also has the title of the publication, the volume and issue number, and the page range that the article was in the original journal. I also have similar guidelines for a book as well as for an online article. And this is probably the one that most of you will be using. So you put the last name of the author, the first and middle initial, the year in which something was published, the title of that online article, the source of that article, and the website, the URL that you got that article from. So for example, if I were to create a citation that I wrote, it would look something like this. Italicize most titles. Retrieved on insert URL here. So it's that simple. You just have to have the author, the year, the title, the location that you got that information from, and the URL. Now, in some cases, you're not going to have the author's information, for example. In that case, you simply take the title of the article and you put it first instead. So it would go title of the article and then the year in which it was published. If you don't have the year information, you simply put an ND for no date. And let's see, what else? You have to make sure that it's in italics for if it's the title of a book or the title of a newspaper, those sorts of rules. If it doesn't have an author or a date, you might want to double think using it. in the first place, but in some cases it just is really good information. It just doesn't have a date on it. A lot of government resources, for example, don't have dates on them. So you do have to take it with caution, but that's how you would cite it if you have any issues. If you have any other questions about how to use APA format, you can simply go to this link provided for you in this outline, and it will tell you how to cite just about anything, from a website to a book to a YouTube video to a tweet. And it's really, really useful. I highly suggest that you take a look through it and figure out how to cite things rather than just using an automatic generator, because those generators tend to not do the best job of citing things, and oftentimes they get it wrong. And if you use a generator and it gets it wrong, you will lose points. So you always want to double check it against these sources to make sure that you are doing it correctly. So that is the fill-in outline. You can use this for your full sentence outline and then transfer it via handwriting onto note cards for your keyword outline. But this is a really useful tool, and it's a really easy way to get points, right? To get credit for your outline, because I'm looking for it to look like this. And if it doesn't look like this, you might lose some points. So really, do yourself a favor and use this outline. I put a lot of work into making it function, so please, please, please use this outline for the purposes of your speech.